Hi everybody, we are here today with a week 2 litter update for these mini Australian Labradoodle puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and this video is a litter update for the 7 puppies from our Strawberry Swirl litter. In this video we're going to give you a bit of an update about each of the puppies, their weights, their milestones that they've achieved, and we're also going to give you a little update about Sierra. So the puppies are all nursing, as you can see, and you can see they're all climbing in. They're on top of each other. Pink collar here doesn't have a spot, so she's really working hard trying to find somewhere. Purple's hanging on for dear life, and it's really fun at this point in time when they have the strength and the energy and the tenacity to really get in there and make sure that they're getting their fair share. So this is one of the reasons why we weigh all of our Labradoodle puppies every single day for the first 3 weeks that we have the puppies. And we do that just to make sure that somebody isn't consistently missing out on their spot at the milk bar. If you happen to have a puppy who was considerably smaller than everyone else, it's always possible that they may be knocked off by their siblings, or they may just never get a chance. Now, some Mama Labradoodles have 10 spots at their milk bar, some only have 6, some have 8. 8 is usually about the average. And of course, there's preferred spots. The back ones are the ones that are the most heavy in the milk supply. And so those are the ones that are most sought after. So this is why we weigh the puppies daily and why we keep reporting to you on what their weight is. Once they've doubled their weight and once they're 3 weeks old and we move them from the maternity ward into the nursery, then we only weigh them once a week. It's much easier then to see how they're doing, plus they get started on solid foods, and so there isn't quite so much competition then, as there is a bowl that they're eating out of, and we're also there helping to manage their food intake. So let's start with a little bit of info on Sierra. Now, we hope that you are subscribed to our channel and watching our other litter updates. Right now we are doing weekly updates for the rainbow litter and the dragonfly litter. And those puppies are both 3 weeks old. We'll just see if we can get her to settle down a little bit here and find a spot. If you go down to the bottom here, you might just find some gold. Now, part of the reason that they're having a little bit more trouble finding their spots is because I'm in here, so Sierra can't spread out quite as much as she would normally. So on our other 2 litter updates, for their 3-week updates, we were talking quite a bit about maternal behavior and the influence that has on your puppy and your puppy's development in terms of their temperament. So Sierra is a dog that provides the very best of both worlds in terms of her behavioral impact on her puppies. She's an extremely devoted mother for the first week to 10 days when the puppies really need her. She's here, she's dedicated, she doesn't really want to go out, and if she does go out, it's only for a few moments. She's always lying down to nurse, and she's constantly attentive to her babies. This is great. This starts the babies off with a beautiful sense of security, a lot of confidence, and never feeling like there isn't someone there caring for them. Now that the puppies are 2 weeks old, in the past few days, Sierra is quite happy with them. She feels they're all safe, they're all healthy, they've all passed that really critical stage initially where we're always worried about the fragility of life, and she feels happy now that she can leave them. So what she's doing now is she comes out with us now regularly, which she loves to do. She's enjoying chasing the ball. She loves to run around outside and sniff and smell all the different things. And you can see how she's adapted herself here now, and the puppies all do have a spot at her milk bar. Now, this is something that is very indicative of Sierra. She will adjust and make sure that her puppies are all accommodated. But while she's doing that, she's not being a helicopter mom. She's not fussing over them. You'll see she didn't cry. She wasn't getting up and being anxious. She was very calm about it. She let them sort it out, and then she just adjusted her spot a little bit. I moved over a bit, and she responded to that. This is exactly what we want in a Mama Labradoodle. We want a mom who gives her puppies the chance to solve their own problems, that puppies that have the confidence to do so. And she's here, she's attentive, she's caring, she's providing and meeting all of their needs and exceeding what they need, but she isn't doing everything for them. So how does that impact the puppy? Well, the puppies learn how to problem solve. They're not having everything handed to them. They have to figure it out. Now, Sierra is in her maternity ward now quite frequently. She's out of the nest. She has herself a little bed just a few feet away, and that's where she spends most of her time now. She can always hear them. She can always see them. She comes into the box if there's any need, if somebody gets in trouble in any way or is really crying for her. She comes in, of course, to nurse them. But otherwise, she's letting them be individuals and to just grow and learn all about life on their own. And you'll notice in our whelping boxes, we have these rails, and these are called pig rails. I'm not exactly sure why they're called pig rails, but the reason we have these rails is when mom's leaning up against them, she can't crush a puppy. So when they're newborns, that's a really easy thing to do. And now you'll find that when Sierra's not here, the puppies all instinctively are underneath here. And they do that because that's what makes them feel safe. They have a roof over their head. So this is the beginning of successful crate training, because that's exactly what the crate does. The crate provides that same sense of security with a roof and a nice secure enclosure. So overall in this litter, we have a really wonderful mom. At Van Isle Labradoodles, we are so fortunate to have so many excellent mama Labradoodles. We tend to weed out the girls that we don't think have those qualities before they even have a litter. So we do work very hard to assess the temperaments of our moms, not just when they're puppies and we choose them as breeding dogs, but consistently long before they have their first litter. And generally speaking, their first litter is sometime between 18 and 24 months of age. So that gives us a good period of time to assess them. And if we feel that the girl isn't ready, still a good candidate, but not mature enough yet, then we just delay that first litter until we do feel she's mature enough. Spirit, for instance, did not have her first litter until her third season because she just was not emotionally ready. And now she is our absolutely most stellar Labradoodle mama dog. And she is the one who tells all the other mamas how to do things right. And she's always running around making sure that all the puppies are perfectly fine. So now let's give you a little bit more information about each of the puppies. I don't like to interrupt them when they're nursing, so I wanted them to have a good little bit here. Sierra had just been outside, so that was an opportune time for her to come in and give all of these babies a good feed. Now you'll see Sierra's panting. And the reason for that is the room still is 22. Today we will be turning it down to 21 because they are 2 weeks old. And also she was running around outside, and of course it's cooler outside, so it feels quite warm when you come in. But it's also a lot of work to feed all of these mouths. So girls do tend to pant quite a bit when they are lactating. So now she might be deciding that she's had enough and it's time to get out, or she may be going to stay with them. So we'll just let her decide what the best thing is to do. Now, as for milestones for these puppies, they're going to achieve one today that we haven't done yet, and that's their first worming session. And lots of people wonder, well, why do puppies have to be wormed? Why do they have worms? Because we associate sometimes dogs having worms with unclean environments. What the reason is for that is that all female dogs are born with a dormant worm, and that worm never comes to life unless they get pregnant. Then once they're pregnant, that worm starts its life cycle, and those worms are all passed on to the puppies. So regardless of how clean and tidy and how many times you worm your mama dog, your puppies will still have worms. So that's why we worm them. So we worm them at 2, 4, and 6 weeks. And we use a very mild wormer called Strawberry. It tastes like apples and it smells not too bad. The puppies don't mind having it. It's a very, very gentle product. And then just before they go home to their families, we switch and use another product called Interceptor. And Interceptor is just a very tiny little tablet, and the puppies are then old enough that you can easily have them swallow the tablet. And we change brands at the end there just to make sure if something was missed by the Strongid that it's covered by the Interceptor. But we never use a very harsh or severe type of wormer. And in British Columbia, we're really lucky. There is no heartworm, so we never have to address that issue. Whereas if you live in other parts of the country, such as Ontario, heartworm is present and you do have to worry about that. So there, now we will stop talking and we will go with all the puppies because Sierra says that's it, time's up. She's gone over, you can hear she's having a little drink of water, and she may come and join us again, or she may just stay in the bed I was talking about and observe from a distance. So this is what I mean by she's letting the puppies have their independence. The other milestone that these puppies are just about all achieving today, right on target, is opening their eyes. Now when we go through the puppies today, you'll see some of them do have their eyes fully open and some of them are just starting to open. So like we always do, we're going to do all the puppies in birth order, and we're going to tell you a little bit about each of them. And you'll see Orange is taking advantage of having a little pillow here on his sister Pink's back. But I'm going to take that pillow away from you, Betty, because Pink is our first puppy up for everyone to see. And Pink does have her eyes open. She just has them open as little slits. This is our firstborn girl, so you can tell that it doesn't matter what your birth order position is in terms of reaching your milestones. So all these puppies are a gorgeous dark red caramel. They're a beautiful, beautiful shade. They are really, if you saw them, you'd probably say they were brown because they have a really dark color. They may lighten up a bit or they may darken up a bit. There's this gene that Labradoodle breeders talk about. It's very elusive and it's very mysterious, and it's called the Rufus gene. And lots of people think that, oh, if you have the Rufus gene, if you have a dog with any red hues in their coat, they'll darken and become even more red. I'm not a huge fan of true red Labradoodles. To be a true red, you have to have a black nose. These are red caramels. I love this color. I much prefer this with the liver colored nose myself. Just a personal preference. So if these dogs get darker, then people will say, oh, you must have the Rufus gene. Whether it even exists or not is a little bit of folklore, but definitely some caramels darken and some lighten. This also happens with dogs who are chocolate and black. Sometimes the black will fade, chocolate almost always fades. And there we go, we've got the tongue going here on Pink Collar Girl. She's still thinking about having all of that good time at the mummy's milk bar. And you'll see her eyes are still mostly closed. I think she was thinking she should get some more food because she's still trying to nurse off my finger. So Miss Pink Collar Girl is now 893 grams. So they are all getting up there very close to the 1 kilogram mark. Everyone has more than doubled their birth weight, which of course is what we're always aiming for. And this little lady has some really pretty little abstract markings. So she has that adorable little little white spot at the end of her tail. She has 4 beautiful white paws and a really lovely marked face. And then she has this gorgeous white chest as well. This puppy is going to continue to grow and become even more beautiful as time goes on. Right, Pink? She's a beautiful solid build. She's very, very nicely put together, and you can see all of the lab influence on these puppies. Cooper, who is the sire, has a lovely big heavy bone structure, and that's what we always aim to go for here at Van Isle Doodles. So that's our Pink Collar Girl. Next we have Dark Blue. Now Dark Blue, well, his eyes are wide open and he has already surpassed the 1 kilogram mark. Look at the heft of this guy. At 2 weeks old and a mini, this is a hefty boy. Yeah, this is our big hefty boy. Mr. Dark Blue is weighing 1.02 kilograms. Now he doesn't have as many white markings as Pink Collar Girl does, but he has the darkest colored coat. Head out. Are you going to show everybody your eyes? Now because they just ate, they're all sleepy, so we may not see their eyes today. Their eyes are all blue. They will not stay blue. They're just born blue, just as some human babies are born with blue eyes that then morph into brown eyes. So you can see he has this pretty white patch on the top of his head here. He is the big bruiser in the litter. You see he has that very pretty labby type head, snubby nose, strong stop, nice broad head. Really a nice, well put together puppy. That's our Mr. Dark Blue Collar. After him we have Green Collar. And we go from the darkest in dark blue to the lightest in Green Collar. A green collar is more of what you would call a very beautiful taupe color, golden caramel. And then you'll see there's a little bit of white sprinkled through the back there. Hello, I'm sorry. Am I showing everybody your little self? Are you adorable? Oh, yes, you are. Now show everybody a big yawn. You want to show them your eyes, dark green? And your eyes are still pretty much slits. This puppy also has a lot of white abstract marking on him. Lots of heavy white on the top of the head, around the face. We've got the white paws again, white on the chest, and we have the little white tip on the tail there. Mr. Green is also a beautiful, very solid boy, as you can see. Just like everybody in this litter is pretty solid. Oh, yes they are. Yes they are. There, maybe we're going to get a little glimpse at the eyes there. No, just a little tiny one. They really don't want to show us their eyes too much right now. Oh, and maybe look at how Pink has decided that this is her new best friend. And I'm just going to put my arm right around my buddy here. She's sleeping next to Red Collar. That's her sister. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Did I make you have a little cough? I think I might have had my finger right in his throat there. I love it when the puppies do that. It's so cute. And it's Red Collar that we need next. Oh, sorry, that was orange. Red Collar girl. Come here, sweet girl. Hello, my angel. And Red Collar girl does have her eyes open, if she's going to show them to us. I actually had to write it down before we started the video who didn't have their eyes open, so I would know for sure, because I knew they were all going to probably close them up after feeding, because it's nap time. It's morning nap time. So right about this time in the morning, we give all of our moms their morning calcium. And that calcium consists just of some Tums, plain old Tums like you and I take if we have some indigestion. And the reason we give them a calcium supplement is to avoid any chance of them developing eclampsia, which is also like a milk fever. And that's when the drain of calcium on a lactating mom is so much that their calcium and potassium levels drop dramatically, and they go into basically a shock situation. It's a very dangerous thing to have. It requires immediate attention. You must go to the vet. They must have IV calcium given to them right away. We always have injectable calcium that we can give to our girls sub-Q, so that if something happens and it's the middle of the night, the closest ER vet to us is an hour away, and we would get triaged. That way we know we can save our girl's life until they are able to see her. So we give the girls all a special supplement that's called Doc Roy's Healthy Bones. It's not a bone, it's just a little tablet, and it has vitamin D, and it has magnesium, it has phosphorus, it has all the things that their bodies need to be able to absorb and utilize the calcium properly. They get that 3 times a day with their meals, their main meals. They don't get it with their dinner meal. And then they also have Tums 3 times a day. So they have lots of calcium. But the best way that they get their calcium is lots of raw chicken necks. Oh my goodness, I think they would eat 10 each a day, but they'd never be able to poop. They'd be so constipated. So we give them about 4 raw chicken necks a day each. So we go through a lot of pounds of chicken necks. Now let's get back to little Red Collar girl, who's still got her eyes closed here. She's sound asleep in my arms. This is very indicative of the temperament of this litter. Extremely relaxed, very laid back, very, very calm, very West Coast style puppies. You can see she has those same beautiful little white dipped paws in the back and the front. Beautiful white on the head and the face, white on the chest here too. And she too is a nice solid girl, and there's that famous white tip tail. Our Copper produces those, and Cooper, who is the handsome boy who's the daddy of this litter, obviously also has that as a trait. It's all part of the party allele, which is the S allele, and these dogs are all carrying party. And Red Collar Girl is 934 grams. So she is a really nice size, and she's getting up there, getting close to that 1 kilogram mark. Next we have Yellow Collar. Yellow Collar is the smallest puppy. Nope, not smallest. Second smallest puppy. Yes, hi. This puppy is just, he's one of those ones that kind of steals your heart. Look at that little half mustache he's got. He's a little half stasher. I think he's so cute because he's tiny, and then he's got quite a lot of white, which is really evident when he's this small. But it's this half mustache that just gets me every time. It's just so cute. He is quite a little fighter. He has had no problems getting his fair share at the milk bar. He's got a lovely little temperament going. And Yellow's eyes are, they'll be fully open by the end of the day today. And I hope that maybe we could have well, next week when we do our video, you'll be able to see everybody's eyes fully open. But for now, we have to see them still partly closed. So this little lad, he's got all this little cute mustache going on. He's got lots of white, carries right over his head, over onto the back, around his neck there. Hi-yo. He's very affectionate. You could sit with him all day, just up in your neck like this, and he goes, yeah, that's fine. I'm perfectly happy here. He loves to be held, and he's a jiggler. He prefers this to this. So with all the puppies, I have them in my neck lots and lots, and I talk to them all the time, even though nobody has their ears open yet. That won't happen for, during the next week that will happen. But I either jiggle them or I rock them, and it's easy to figure out what they like best. And then of course we're still doing our early neurological stimulation, where we give them a little minor stress each day. So for instance, we put them upside down like this. You can see these puppies, nothing really stresses them. They just are so easygoing. It's just wonderful to see. He's going to see if maybe his paw will be something similar to nursing. Maybe that's like a baby who sucks his thumb. That's our little Yellow Collar boy. Next is Purple Collar Girl. And Purple Collar Girl is the smallest in the litter, and she's currently missing. Oh, you are purple right here. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were blue for a minute. Hello, my sweet. Did you know it was your turn? Purple Collar Girl's the smallest puppy, and she was the first puppy to open her eyes. So she actually opened her eyes yesterday. She had them wide open yesterday. On Saturday, she had them as slits, just really small slits. Sunday they were open, and today, Monday, they are, of course, still wide open. A Purple Collar Girl looks a lot like a Yellow Collar Boy with these white markings. Lots of heavy white markings on this little girl. Now, she is not really as red of a caramel. She's more that gold caramel kind of color, a little bit more like green color is. She's a little sweetie. She's another one that will just come and snuggle right up. And of course, she just captures my heart because she's the tiny one. I always seem to go for the tiny ones. And she's 830 grams. So she's still, it doesn't matter how tiny she is, she still doubled her birth weight. I think you can see her eyes. I think they're open a little bit there for you to get an idea. She's just a real sweet angel of a puppy. And one of the other things we do for the early neurological stimulation is we'll do something like this. Let's see, and she's like, oh, well, what are you doing? But that's okay. And you can even do things where you lift them up in the air and bring them back down. And you can see there's no upset at all. So that's our pretty little Purple Collar Girl. And last but not least, this Horker boy here, Mr. Orange Collar Boy. Hi, buddy. And Mr. Orange, again, is a darker red caramel. And he, too, is almost solid. Not quite. He has little tiny little hints of white on his paws. Now, as he gets older, those will disappear. and a little tiny bit of a goatee here. Mr. Orange's eyes are open, and he is one of the few without a tip on his tail. So he's really pretty much a solid, really pretty. Look at that beautiful head that he has. Now that's what we like to see in our Labradoodles, a beautiful, big, broad, solid head. And I don't think he's going to wake up enough to show us his eyes. But maybe if I put him on his back, we'll get to see some. Because, of course, being turned upside down, well, of course, is not, of course, with these ones. Usually that elicits a response, but not with these puppies. They're just so chill. He's just like, oh, I don't care. If you want me to lie upside down like this, that's fine. I'm really exhausted. My life is so hard. So these puppies are not quite yet walking around. Oh, and Mr. Orange Collar is 969 grams. And he was the second one to open his eyes just about a half a day after Purple Collar Girl did. So these puppies are starting to walk around now. They're still not quite fully functioning in terms of balance. They still wobble quite a bit. No, and you can see, look at, oh, here we are, the two sisters. They've got their arms intertwined with one another and using each other as a pillow. And then we've got our outlier over here, Mr. Dark Blue Collar. I'm not sure, you probably can't even see him through my feet, but he's off here all on his own. This is something I do like to see. They do tend to always be together, but it's nice when you see them spread out and know that they're quite comfortable being on their own. So they're obviously at the right temperature. They're not clumped up all on top of one another in like what you would see in a football heap when there's a big pile of players after a play in football. And that's what puppies do if they're cold. And they're not all spread out with their arms out like this, which is what they would do if they were overheated. Sometimes breeders tend to make their rooms too hot. There's a lot of thought about keeping things very, very warm for puppies. I don't subscribe to that belief. First of all, puppies are designed to be born outdoors, and it's certainly not in most climates, and certainly not in British Columbia, ever going to be where it's over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's very uncomfortable for mom. Mom has already got a lot to do and a lot that's going on, and we're asking her to really be devoted to her puppies. And if you're lying there and you've got a whole litter of them right up against you and they're all feeding, your temperature and your body temperature is already increased from lactation. The last thing you want is to be in a 90-degree room. Now, on the other hand, you don't want it to be too cold and you don't want them to be in a draft. So we like to try and have a happy medium. At Van Isle Labradoodles, we try and always do what is most natural. Now, of course, we can't do everything naturally, but we try to build on what would happen naturally and try to recreate that as close as we possibly can. So our temperature is 23 when the puppies are first born, drop down to 22 when they're 10 days old, drop down to 21 when they're 2 weeks old, and then when they are moving out to the nursery at around 3 weeks, it's dropped down to 20. And nobody ever seems to mind that. Now, if somebody's not well, we'll turn it up. If there's anything going on, we'll turn the temperature up, of course. But we find that this makes moms more comfortable with their babies, much more inclined to go in the nest. And we don't use a heating pad either. And we don't find that the puppies seem to need it. So it's worked for us, and that's how we like to do things. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have about Labradoodles. If you're a breeder and you have any questions, if you're a new breeder, if you want to know anything about whelping puppies or just anything about the breed or anything about puppies, please feel free to ask. I'm always more than happy to answer your questions because nothing is more fun to talk about than Labradoodles. And thanks so much for watching.